Okay, here we are back with an oddball video. This is just something, to throw together quickly to, occupy my time while there's not much to do on the other games, that I can do right now anyway. So, recently I've noticed that my keyboard, which is a Ducky Shine 3, from a couple years ago, has developed some LED issues. Now, all the LEDs in this mode are supposed to be lit, but as you can see, there's a whole bunch that aren't. The camera's making them pulse a little bit, but they're pretty solid. They're bright, they're blue, but half of them are out. And I have a matching keyboard at work, and 2 of them are out on that, and I got one fading one on that one as well. So after a little bit of digging, I noticed some other people bought the same batch of Ducky Shine keyboards had similar problems, and the fix is to replace the LEDs. It's interesting that they all died around the same time. This one I noticed dying over the last couple months, and people online said they all died within a certain amount of time. So it could just be a batch of bad LEDs. It could be some bad solder, from the factory, or, just, I don't know, different reasons why it could all fail, but it's frustrating to see them like this. So I am going to attempt to take this thing apart and solder new LEDs in to see what the behavior is. I'll probably start with the escape key first, because it's easiest to get to. Taking this thing apart is really, really easy, but it hurts your fingers because it's a lot of snap together pieces and clips. But there's one screw holds the outside on, and then 2 more screws hold the circuit board in. And it's pretty easy to get to, so it won't be too much of a chore. But what I've got, I ordered a packet of replacement. These are 3mm blue rimless or flangeless, whatever they're called. So I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but around the bulbs, there's no ring of plastic around the base. If they were there, they wouldn't fit. The Cherry MX switches that are in here, I think they're reds, require that. Otherwise they don't go down all the way, and the keycaps will actually hit them when you put them down, push them down. So those were, they're not costly, they're just a different option. You have to look around for them. This is an eBay purchase. They're probably, Chinese made or something, but an LED is an LED. About 100, because there's 30 of them out here and a couple at work. So I'm going to try to fix the keyboard and see if that's actually the issue. What I'm concerned about is that these alternating ones are out. I had this open already, and I couldn't replicate, in any intermittency. I tried to wiggle all the LEDs. I put some pressure on some parts of the board and some components. I don't think it is it's a bad component. It doesn't seem to be that way, because these will light intermittently, as if the LEDs are bad. But the components themselves seem to test okay. But it's still interesting that they're out alternating keys mostly. So I'm gonna get to work, and I'll take some pictures, and then I'll be back and let you know what happened. Okay, I got the first bulb out, the escape key. This is going to be a chore. The solder points are really small, and there's not a lot of solder on it, so actually pulling the LED out through the traces is quite a chore. Not easy, but got it out. Going to put the new one in. The old one, isn't much to look at. I don't know how they fail. I hope it's the LEDs though, and not the any of the resistors or diodes, I guess. So I'm gonna keep working on this one. I'm gonna throw the new one back in the escape, and we'll see if it lights up. Okay, time for the first power on. I haven't done this yet. Escape keys over here. I still have the leads on the LED, so we're gonna see, you know, what's gonna happen when I plug it in without the case. So we're gonna plug this in. Hopefully, we don't see any sparks or showers. Sparks. Windows likes that. Aha! Look at that. Escape key's lit, so I can rule out it's a circuit issue, and it actually is an LED problem. We throw on the escape key, and it's about the same brightness as all the other ones. It's a little out of focus because of the LEDs, but here you go. So I'm going to go ahead and start replacing the other ones, and I'll be back when they're all done. Okay, top row is done. It's about a half hour later. It's really, really annoying. The LEDs are just, they're just sitting in there, but because of the size of the solder pad and everything, it's just a little tedious to get them out. So solder sucker, your friend, one of these. Get one of these. They were great. You burn yourself if you touch the soldering iron, by the way. Just don't do that. So we're going to plug it in, see what happens. Make sure we have, I'm looking for the top row on this case. Okay, so scroll lock works. The other ones are rate. They're used to control the rate of character repetition when you hold them down. So their blink pattern is actually really, really odd. I'm wondering if I can actually force them to turn on one of these modes. See, the snake avoids them, but they have to do with the rate. Like I think I have these rates set, but changing them doesn't actually change the lights. It's a little odd how this thing works. That's raindrops. That is custom mode 2 or something.
In the
Oops,
case
turned down my video. So that's like, I forget what they call it. It goes sideways like a
Battlegrounds. I think it.
So this is all on. So there's a, I don't know. I'll have to look and see how we actually change these. I forget. It's in the manual. The manual's terrible because it's from Taiwan, I think. Maybe Korea. One of the two. Wherever Ducky's from. I think it's Taiwan. I'll look at those later. But the good news is that all the other ones, including scroll lock here, are working. So it looks like the modification is working. It's just a long process. So I'm going to get back to it and hopefully get this thing done. Okay, it's I don't know, an hour later, hour and a half later. Took a little longer than I thought. But we're going to plug it in for the first time and see what the status is on all the LEDs. I don't think I missed any. There was one spot at which I had put the LED in wrong, but I caught myself. The circuit board is nice on these because they're the printing on them indicates the key and the positive LED pole. So that made it really easy. So we're going to plug it in here and give it a go. Cross our fingers. I don't have the keycaps on, but it looks like caps lock, scroll lock. It looks like they're all on. Check that out. That's a cool effect. Okay, let me put the keycaps on. I'll be right back. Okay, everything's back together. As you can see, the entire keyboard is now entirely lit, which is great. And figured out You can see these are the data rate keys like I was talking about. They work just fine as well. So looks like a success. Whole lot of dead LEDs, ton of them down here in the corner. I mean, this is like 30 in a batch in 2 years, which I wouldn't have expected. Blue ones tend to be temperamental, but that's still a lot. At work, I think I have like F6 and 7 are out, and the S key is really low or something. So I'm just going to take this into work and do it as well. And go from there. But this looks like to be another project done. I've meant to do it for a while. I only just noticed how many were out though, because I don't typically leave them on like this. I usually have them on one of the patterns, like the pulsating one, the wave pattern. You can see that they actually go on and off. These are preset ones. WASD correspond to the CM1, control mode 1, I think. Maybe it's record 1. I don't know. There's some weird things. But if you have it on like the walking snake, you can see which ones are on, which ones are off, and which ones don't work. And I never really noticed until recently. I had it on this one, which is the raindrops. And if I can figure out how to turn off the... See, there's just WASD for record 1, and then record 2, just the arrow keys. Function F9 is supposed to reset it. F10 puts it in a different mode. There's also brightness, which it can be function up and down, right? Yep, so you can turn it all the way down, all the way up. I had it on the raindrops though, so you really couldn't tell. Some of the raindrops looked like they just weren't hitting those keys, and that's when I didn't notice. And I've had it on that way for months. So I think I'll just leave them on for a little bit though here and see how they hold up. It wasn't too bad. Some of the solder points were a little more stubborn than others. The holes were small, but it's an easy enough project anybody could do with a soldering iron. So that's it. We'll see you next time. If you like this video and you want to see more, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. I have other arcade and pinball videos on the channel you might be interested in, like this one, and this one, even this one. Thanks for watching.